Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. First thing first, check out our exclusive breakdown on hoopsworld.com where we go over, is Marc Gasol better than Dwight Howard? I know it's provocative, but we provide some really interesting stats and a lot of things to think about when you're considering which one of those players is better. Now let's move on to the Clippers offense, because as you compare what they're doing now to what they did last year, it reminds me a lot of the movie Rocky III. And if you don't remember, Rocky III is a movie where Rocky gets knocked out by Clubber Lang, who is a young up-and-coming former bouncer from Chicago who's got the eye of a tiger.
You see, he don't fight no real man. He fight them setups.
What? You're a disgrace to this sport.
Shut up, old man. You and that chump don't know where to come from.
Now, if you can tell me what Mr. T said in that line, please, in the comments, let me know what he said, because I've never been able to figure that out. So as you know, Apollo Creed has to come in and explain to Rocky how he needs to train and what's going to get him back on top.
See that look in their eyes, Rock? We fought, Rock. You had it, you won. Got to get that look back, Rock. Eye of the tiger, man. Eye of the tiger, come on.
And please tell me what a pimp is doing in a boxing gym. And that's a lot like what Doc Rivers has done. They've revamped the offense, got a lot of great stuff in here, and I cannot wait to show you. Here's a sample of what the Clippers offense looked like from last year. Set a ball screen for Chris Paul, then have 5 guys stand around and watch as he had to isolate and use his individual brilliance to create a basket. Then they call a play for Jamal Crawford, who unfortunately never understood that even though the play is called for you, it doesn't mean you have to shoot it. Much too often, it would take too long to get into the offense, there would be way too much dribbling in place, no weak side action or screening, and to even get off the shot, they'd be fighting the shot clock as well as the defense. With Doc Rivers in place, they actually played the game in full color. Here's a very cool misdirection play where Paul dribbles to the top and then passes back as Blake Griffin dives into the open post spot. It's a great way to get Blake the ball down low so he can throw up another awful post move. They run the same play again, but this time, Jordan sets a ball screen for CP3 and Blake hits the high post. This triggers a swing pass and a little two-man game on the right side. This time, Blake sets the screen and Mullins, instead of going to the post, goes to the corner. Chris Paul throws a swing pass and they get another two-man game on the right side with Jamal Crawford and Blake Griffin, and there's the splash. And this time, Chris Paul uses the ball screen to attack, then hits Blake Griffin as he's rolling to the hoop. While not perfect, you can see how this will be effective. Here's a pin down for Dudley, who pitches it back and then gets a flare screen on the weak side. Collison should see that's an open 3. However, the offense has a flow now with counters and options beyond the initial point of attack. A high pick and roll gets them a decent look at a corner 3. Here's similar action for CP3. Watch how he goes through the lane, gets a double down screen, then a dribble pitch. Essentially 3 screens in a row. This is just like what the Spurs do with Tony Parker. Once CP3 gets used to this set, he'll surely attack the mismatches they get instead of giving it up to Jared Dudley, who should not be driving and trying to dish. Assistant coach Armand Hill ran the Princeton when he was head coach at Columbia, and you can see evidence in this set, which is classic Princeton action as Blake dribbles to the wing, DeAndre backdoors, and Crawford gets the pitch. This puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Here's another version they used to run for Ray Allen where instead of Dudley cutting back door, he sets a down screen. Crawford decides to cut baseline and get a down screen from DeAndre Jordan on the right side, getting him wide open for an easy corner shot. They line up in the classic pinch post set from the triangle offense, only Jamison doesn't cut around the pinch post like he should, and his man ends up getting in the way when they try to run a high screen and roll. No matter, Chris Paul can still manufacture shots. They can also break right into pinch post, and here's a cool wrinkle where the player on top can come around and get the pitch after the first cutter goes through. They do it again, and because of the spacing, when Blake gets it going that fast to the rim, DeAndre's man must come over to help, giving up a dunk. Beautiful. It wouldn't be a breakdown from me if I didn't cover horns, and the Clippers are no exception. On the high post entry, they have Jamal Crawford run the baseline, then get the down screen from the weak side high post. A nice dribble pitch gets him an open shot. This time they get tremendous five-man movement. The weak side corner cuts through to back screen the weak side high post's man. Chris Paul also cuts through to set a cross screen on Blake Griffin's man as well, opening up a nice pass to him near the hoop for a great look. The Clippers use horns to set a double ball screen on top, and CP3 delivers the ball perfectly for a Blake Griffin mid-range jump shot. They can also use horns to get a post up for Chris Paul, but again, there is a flow here if they can't get it to him, getting a dribble pitch, drive, and free throws. Of course, we'll probably still see some screwy footwork by Blake Griffin, but when in doubt, Lob City. And Collison can say, in my own face. So there you have it, sports fans. Doc Rivers has revamped this roster, 2 new starters, and the offense. And it's very exciting. There is no doubt in my mind they will score a lot of points, and more importantly, a lot of easier points. They might not win as many games as last year because they certainly won a lot under Vinny Del Negro, but I would argue they'll go farther in the playoffs because they'll be better positioned with better fundamentals, both on offense and defense. So it's very exciting for Clipper fans, certainly compared to Laker fans, and we'll see how they do. But don't forget, check out the Hoops World breakdown of Marc Gasol versus Dwight Howard, and don't forget at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?